Part 1. You will hear a student asking an agent about rental accommodation options. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen and answer questions 1 to 5.
Good morning, City Rentals. How can I help you?
Hello, I'm looking for a place to stay while I'm studying here. I was hoping you could give me some details about your rental options.
Of course. Could I take your name first, please?
Yes, it's Maria Gonzalez. It's Gonzalez.
Thank you, Maria. And may I ask where you're from?
I'm from Spain, and I'll be here for 1 year while I finish my business course.
Great. So what kind of accommodation are you interested in?
Well, I'd like something not too expensive. Maybe a shared flat would be okay.
We do have a vacancy in a shared flat on Pine Street, which is about 10 minutes walk from the university.
Oh, that sounds convenient. How much is the rent?
The rent is £420 per month, which includes water and electricity bills, but internet is extra.
That's still reasonable. Do I need to pay a deposit?
Yes, the deposit is 1 month's rent, so also £420. It's refundable when you move out, as long as there's no damage.
I understand. And how many people would I be sharing with?
At the moment, there are 2 other students in the flat. They're both studying engineering.
That should be fine.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 6 to 10.
One more thing. Is there a common living area?
Yes, there's a shared kitchen and living room, fully furnished. The bedrooms are private, of course.
And what about laundry facilities?
The flat has a washing machine in the kitchen, so you won't need to use a laundrette.
That's helpful. I don't drive, so I'll be using public transport. Is the flat near a bus stop?
Yes, the nearest bus stop is just across the road from the building, and buses run every 10 minutes into the city center.
Perfect. One more question. Are visitors allowed?
Visitors are allowed, but overnight stays must be approved by the landlord in advance.
All right, that's clear. Can I arrange a viewing?
Certainly. When would you like to come?
How about tomorrow afternoon?
We have an opening at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Would that suit you?
Yes, that's fine.
Excellent. I'll just take your contact number so we can confirm.
Sure. It's 07798 456 321.
Thank you, Maria. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
That is the end of Part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to Part 1. Part 2. You will hear information about facilities and activities at Green Valley Adventure Park. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen and answer questions 11 to 16.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Green Valley Adventure Park. My name is Daniel, and I'll be giving you some information to help you enjoy your day here. We have a wide range of facilities and activities, so it's important to plan ahead. First of all, just a quick note about location. Many people expect the park to be in the village center, but it's actually just outside, about a 15-minute walk from the train station. If you're driving, the entrance is on Brook Lane, not River Road, as some older guidebooks say. Now, let me explain how the park is organized. The area is divided into 3 main zones. The Woodland Trail is to the east, the Lakeside area is directly to the north, and the Adventure Zone is in the south. Each has different attractions, and I'll describe them in turn. Starting with the Woodland Trail. This is a popular choice for families. Along the paths, you'll find information boards about local wildlife, including owls, deer, and even badgers. Some visitors expect the trail to take about an hour, but in fact, the full route usually takes closer to 90 minutes. Moving on to the Lakeside area, here you can hire boats. Many people think we only provide rowing boats, but in fact, we also have canoes and kayaks. If you'd rather stay on land, there's also a bird-watching hut. Please note that swimming in the lake is strictly forbidden. The Adventure Zone is for the more energetic. The most popular activity here is the climbing wall, which is 12 meters high. Some visitors assume helmets are optional, but safety rules mean helmets must be worn at all times. We also have an archery range, but that's open only in the afternoons. Now, a word about food and drink. The cafe is next to the main entrance, and it serves hot meals, sandwiches, and cakes. A number of guests bring their own food and eat in the picnic area, which is beside the car park. Just don't feed the ducks, even if they look hungry.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
Guided tours are available too. These take place twice daily, once in the morning at 10:30 and again in the afternoon at 2:30. Both sessions are around 1 hour long. Some people think you need to pay extra for the tours, but they're actually included in the ticket price. Speaking of tickets, let's talk costs. Adults pay £12 each, while children under 14 pay £6. Pensioners are £8, and children under 5 go free. A family ticket for 2 adults and up to 3 children is available at £30, which is cheaper than buying separately. Facilities are something we take seriously. Toilets are located near the cafe, and there's another block by the lakeside area. For valuables, we have lockers near reception. They need a £1 coin, which is returned when you open the locker again. Finally, just a quick note on safety. Dogs are welcome in the park, but they must be kept on a lead at all times. And although the paths are safe, do wear proper shoes. Sandals or flip-flops aren't suitable for the Woodland Trail. That's all from me. I hope you have a wonderful time exploring Green Valley Adventure Park.
That is the end of part 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 2. Part 3. You will hear a tutor discussing a group project plan with 2 students. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 23. Now listen and answer questions 21 to 23.
Good afternoon, both of you. I understand you've been preparing the outline for your group project on urban transport.
Yes, that's right. We've decided to focus on cycling in cities. At first, we considered doing buses, but that felt too broad.
Exactly. Cycling seemed more specific, and it's also an area with growing importance in urban planning.
Good choice. Now, what's the aim of your project?
Well, we want to analyze how cycle lanes affect people's transport choices. Some reports claim they make no difference, while others suggest they encourage lots more cyclists.
We're not trying to prove one side is right, but rather to see what the evidence shows in different cities.
Fair enough. And what cities are your target?
Initially, we thought about comparing London and Amsterdam, but then we realized that Amsterdam is too extreme. It's already famous for cycling.
So we went with London and Manchester instead. They're both UK cities, but Manchester has far fewer cyclists.
That makes sense.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 24 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 24 to 30.
Now, what sources are you planning to use?
We've already looked at government statistics. Those are useful, but they only tell part of the story.
Yes, we also want to include surveys of residents. We found some existing surveys online, but we might design our own questionnaire too.
Good. And will you do interviews?
We discussed that, but decided against it. With our time frame, it would be too ambitious.
All right. And what about maps or diagrams?
Yes, we plan to include maps showing cycle lanes in both cities. They'll help us illustrate differences clearly.
Excellent. Let's talk about the structure of your report. How will you organize it?
Well, we'll begin with an introduction explaining why cycling matters.
Then we'll review previous research. At first, we thought about putting the survey results before the literature review, but that would confuse the reader, so the review comes second.
Yes, that's the logical order. And how will you present your findings?
We'll separate them into two categories: statistics from official data and results from surveys.
And then we'll have a discussion section comparing those with each other.
Sounds good. Now, one final point, the presentation. Remember, you'll be giving this in class before submitting the written version.
Yes, we've started thinking about that. We'll keep it within 15 minutes. Some groups are aiming for 20, but we think shorter is better.
And we'll use visuals, charts, and maybe a short video clip.
Great. Make sure you rehearse it. Overall, I think your project is shaping up very well.
Thank you. We'll continue with data collection this week.
And we'll aim to have the first draft ready by the end of next month.
Perfect. I'll look forward to seeing it.
That is the end of part 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 3. Part 4. You will hear a talk on how chocolate spread worldwide and shaped societies. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 35. Now listen and answer questions 31 to 35.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to explore the fascinating journey of chocolate, from its origins in Central America to its global, cultural, and economic significance today. While most of us think of chocolate as a sweet treat, its story is far more complex. The earliest records show that the Maya civilization cultivated cacao trees more than 1,500 years ago. But interestingly, they didn't eat chocolate the way we do. Instead, they ground the beans into a bitter drink mixed with spices like chili. Now, some people assume the Aztecs were the first to use cacao, but that's not accurate. The Aztecs certainly valued it highly. They even used cacao beans as a form of currency. But the Maya were earlier. When cacao reached Europe in the 16th century, it was initially consumed only by the wealthy elite. Sugar was soon added, transforming the drink into something sweeter and more popular. However, the Spanish, on the other hand, kept it a secret for almost 100 years before it spread all over Europe. As for Britain, chocolate houses began appearing in London around the late 1600s. They functioned a bit like modern coffee shops, but instead of lattes and cappuccinos, patrons enjoyed cups of hot chocolate. However, because it was expensive, access was limited to the elite class. Now, fast forward to the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century. This was a turning point. With new machinery, companies like Fry's and later Cadbury were able to mass-produce chocolate bars. Before this, solid chocolate wasn't really available, only drinks. This mass production both lowered the cost and expanded access to the middle classes. At this point, let's think about health perceptions. Some Victorians worried chocolate was addictive or harmful, but medical journals from the period often recommended it as a nutritious food, particularly for children and invalids. Today, of course, debates continue. Dark chocolate, with high cocoa content, is praised for antioxidants, whereas milk chocolate is criticized for its sugar.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 36 to 40. Now listen and answer questions 36 to 40.
What about global economics? Well, cacao cultivation is concentrated in West Africa today, with Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana producing more than half the world's supply. But despite this, farmers often receive less than 10% of the retail price. Much of the profit remains with international companies that control distribution and branding. Environmental concerns have also become pressing. Deforestation in West Africa is linked to expanding cacao farms, and climate change threatens future yields. Some scientists estimate that suitable areas for cacao could shrink by up to 40% by 2050. Now, let's not forget the cultural side. In many European countries, chocolate is strongly tied to seasonal celebrations. Think of Easter eggs or Christmas boxes. In Japan, Valentine's Day traditions are quite different. Women give chocolates to men, not the other way around. But in other Asian countries, chocolate remains a relatively recent introduction and is still associated with luxury. Of course, there are alternatives to cacao-based chocolate, such as carob, which comes from the Mediterranean region. It tastes similar and is sometimes marketed as healthier. Yet surveys suggest most consumers prefer authentic chocolate and view substitutes as poor imitations. So, to conclude, chocolate is not just a sweet. It's a product with a long cultural history, significant economic weight, and a future shaped by environmental and social challenges. Despite alternatives, it's likely that chocolate will remain the world's favorite confectionery for decades to come.
That is the end of part 4.